What's happening, everybody? Welcome back to the TV Toycast YouTube channel, and today we are unboxing from McFarlane Toys and the new Super Friends line. Of course, it is Green Lantern. Very excited to dive into these. I'm actually super excited to dive into the Super Friends line in general. It's kind of funny if you've been listening to the podcast for any length of time. When the 66 Batman line hit, me and Travis were pretty against it. We were like, oh man, for the price point and minimal articulation, I don't know. I don't know if I can justify it. Then, of course, Super Friends rolls around. We're all like, oh, we're both all in, you know. But that's kind of what happens in the toy industry sometimes, or the toy collecting game. You change your minds, and that's exactly what we did. Of course, it made sense to start with Batman in this line, but I don't have Batman yet. I have it. It's in my pile of loot, though, on Big Bad Toy Store. So, Green Lantern, it will be how we start. But I love the packaging on these. And these are actually relatively easy to find. You can find these on Big Bad. You can find them also on... usually at Target and at Walmart, both in the collector's section. Of course, the classic Super Friends logo, all your top characters up top there. Of course, DC, McFarlane Toys. But look at this, the weathered look of the carding. I think that is one of the coolest features of this, and that's really what pulled me in. When I saw the figures, it was like, okay, that's cool. But the carding really pulled me in on these. I'm like, oh man, that is so cool. And I'll be honest, I'm going to be mixing matching a little bit. Certain characters won't make sense to include from the 66 Batman line, but certain ones will. In fact, as we record this just today, I put in an order on eBay for King Tut. Because obviously he only appearing in 66 Batman, he's not going to be in the Super Friends line. So I'm like, why not? I'll throw King Tut in that collection. Why not? It makes sense to me, right? And as long as your collection makes sense to you, that's all that matters, I think. But, of course, the Hal Jordan version of Green Lantern, classic Green Lantern, love the green and black. Of course, we got a trading card back there, which is kind of cool. Looks like we got a communicator and a green baseball bat, which, I mean, you know, he can make anything, so why not a green baseball bat? Then on the back, we don't really have a roster, so to speak, but, well, I say we don't. We kind of do, actually, because you get, a pretty good look at a lot of the characters, guys that, hopefully will show up in the line. I do know they have released images for Wave 2, which I know includes Superman and the Flash on the hero side of things. We're also going to be getting Cheetah, Captain Cold, and Toyman as far as villains, and then also Universe of Evil Superman. So we're going to get the red version of Superman, which will be really cool. But, I mean, if you look here, like, obviously Green Arrow, and I don't know the female Shazam's name, so I apologize there. Red Tornado, Plastic Man even. We're kind of getting a who's who of some of the characters here, so hopefully that'll be cool. There's also been a leaked list for Series 3, which I know includes Bizarro Batman, which will be fun. The Wonder Twins, Zahn, I think, was on that list, so there'll be a lot of cool ones to come. Hopefully guys like Solomon Grundy make the cut eventually. I'd love to see the Penguin, the Riddler. I mean, the Riddler already happened. The Joker, some of those characters would be really fun as well. So, of course, classic old school packaging here, which I think is how it should be. Kind of get a closer look. Really cool looking character there. Like I said, not crazy on the articulation, but I also don't feel like it needs to be. Of course, the trading card there, which is really cool. No Build-A-Figures here, which that's been I'm going to start opening this bad boy up. That's been an issue I've had with the Batman the Animated Series line, is the Build-A-Figures don't get a trading card. I am demolishing this box. Oh my gosh, I'm an amateur. So that bothers me because like I'm in the middle of unboxing Wave 3 of Batman the Animated Series. And of course, the Build-A-Figures Maxi Zeus. And, about halfway to getting him completely put together. But he won't have a trading card, so that kind of is an off thing. Like, I mean, they should do something about that. I don't know what the answer to that would be necessarily, whether that's we're going to offer a trading card by mail or something, or, include this in some way, shape, or form. But it's weird to have all the other characters but not have Maxi Zeus. But the same with the other lines. We, of course, never got Condiment King. We never got Lockup, I think was his name. So, it's something that I think that they could include if they wanted to. So, it's just a trading card, of course. And it adds to the total, feeling of the line. But McFarlane, pretty cool about including trading cards, which I think is pretty fun. Of course, we got Green Lantern here. I'm going to pop him out if we can. Maybe. It looks like rounded edges on the trading card. I don't think I like that. Doesn't feel like a trading card. It feels like a playing card more. So I don't really like that, but it's not a huge deal. Of course, classic look of Green Lantern there. This is kind of cool. You get the whole Series 1 on the back. But no Universe of Evil Batman, so that's already kind of a miss to me. But, you know, what are you going to do? Kind of look at Green Lantern here. So, like I said, minimal articulation on these, but we do have... The arms do go out a little bit. Of course, joints at the elbow. Very stiff joints, but not a bad thing. Kind of move both ways there. Looks like. And then, of course, the shoulders come up and down to the sides. Legs are going to be very minimal, up and down. These are almost like tall superpowers. We do have waist articulation. A lot of probably reuse on these parts as well, which I don't think is a bad thing. They could have given him the wide eyes, but we didn't go with that. We went with the regular eyes, so not bad. But, you know, again, it's Hal Jordan. It's the Green Lantern. It's cool stuff. Try to put the baseball bat in his hand. Hopefully his hand's not super tight, and I'm able to open the fingers up a little bit. It's a little bit tight, but it works. So, got the baseball bat in hand. Put, I guess, the communicator down here. That's kind of the bad part about some of these is, like, what are you supposed to do with the communicator? No McFarlane stands with these. What do you guys think about that? I know some people like the stands. They're probably not for everybody, though. As long as this guy stands up, which he seems to be, I don't think it's a huge deal. But overall, that is Green Lantern, of course, from the Super Friends. It looks pretty cool. Not the most articulated figure I've ever seen, but it's fun for what it is, and definitely one I plan to get. More of. But yeah, very, very cool stuff. I've got the rest of the Super Friends to unbox. Besides Batman, of course, who I mentioned before, is in my pile of loot, and I'll be sending that over. I usually try to wait till I have a decent amount before I submit it over. But all the rest of them, I've actually had pretty decent luck finding the chases here. I know some people haven't, but typically when they stock these, they stock all of them, including the chases, and I guess I've just, been right place, right time. Now, I'll say this. Travis, from the TV Toycast is also into this line and has had horrible luck finding them. He's only found Batman one time. So your region may be a factor with these a little bit. And I actually just recently sent him a care package of Green Lantern, Sinestro, Universe of Evil Batman, the Riddler, and Lex Luthor. All of them. Because he just can't find them anywhere. So I think sometimes your area has a factor to do with that, but I have seen these all over the place. So I didn't realize they weren't kind of hard. They weren't super easy to find, because we can only judge it based off what we're actually seeing. And out in my area, these have been very, very easy to find. But not the most balanced figure, but he does stand up. I feel like it's one where you have to kind of be a little bit careful, but it does look good. It's fun for what it is, but it's not the most over the top. I think a lot of reuse on these parts will probably be possible, but if that keeps cost down, it doesn't bother me too much. Overall, it's a cool version of Green Lantern, and it's cool to have the Super Friends line celebrated. Like I said, I've always been a big fan of Super Friends. I think most of us remember watching these reruns from back in the day. Just such a fun time, and kind of a time that we remember, obviously from the late 70s, early 80s, obviously into the Justice League and all that other stuff that we are very familiar with. But what do you guys think? Are you into the Super Friends? Are you into the retro DC line? I have heard rumor that McFarlane will be able to still do this style of figure, but maybe not the DC Multiverse style figure. So if this is something you're into, you might be in luck. I do have a McFarlane stand here, right? Just happened to be laying around. So, first I'm going to do is I'm going to throw the figure on the ground, and then I'm going to see if he'll stand on it. What are you going to do? Takes some work, but he does. So, if you have an extra stand laying around, which you can usually find these on eBay and places like that relatively inexpensively. So, if you do have a stand laying around and you want to do that, it does work. It's not the perfect fit, but you can make it work. Like I said, these don't stand up the greatest on their own, but they're fun for what they are. So drop it in the comments down below. Are Super Friends going to be a line you're going to be collecting? Are you going to pick and choose? Are you going to put these with your 66 Batman figures? What are you going to be doing? Also, what's the future of McFarlane look like for you? Do you collect McFarlane at all? Does it not affect you? Are you excited to see what Mattel brings to the table? Drop it in the comments down below. And of course, check out my other unboxing videos. Earlier this week, I dove into the Haunted Mask, of course, from the Goosebumps line from Trick or Treat Studios. Really, really fun diving into that. Such a fun line. The figures probably weren't the most desirable looking figures, much like this, where it was limited articulation, but to me, it's cool what it represents, and so that makes it really exciting. So, picked up Carly Beth, the Haunted Mask from the Trick or Treat Goosebumps line. So very excited about that. Lots of cool unboxings last week as well, so check those out. Also, check out the podcast, the TB Toycast, every Thursday. We have a different main event, and we're talking all things news in the toy world, whatever's happening, what's got us excited, what we're into, what we're picking up, all that in between. So check out the TB Toycast every Thursday. And on the YouTube channel, make sure to check out Tales of the Toy Box and What's on the Pegs. A couple of different shows I also offer on the TB Toycast YouTube channel. But that is pretty much all I got, of course. The Green Lantern, definitely a cool figure, a cool way to start it. Plan to get all of these. Very excited about the future of the line. You know, obviously McFarlane, I believe, is losing the license in late 2026, so we're only in mid-2025, so with 3 waves already announced, I feel like we have plenty of time to maybe kind of piece this whole line together, hopefully. I would love to see a lot more obscure characters and Universe of Evil variants and all that stuff in between. I think it'll be a lot of fun. So anyway, I'm looking forward to it. I think it's a lot of fun. And excited to dive into the DC Retro Collection with the Super Friends line. Thank you guys for checking out the TB Toycast YouTube channel. That is the Green Lantern, Hal Jordan, and we will see you in the toy aisle.
Yeah. One more time. It ain't over till I say it's over. So lock the cage up, cause this is a takeover. The wait's over. If this the final time we meet, then you'll be on your back on my feet. Then I'll tip the cage over as a hangover. I'm super fly so I can splash off the top. And I can shut down the shot.